Here's what's happening. So you love technology, right? We all do, and sometimes technology brings certain challenges, to say the least. But you guys did awesome worshiping without screens, but we can still, go into God's Word without screens, right? If the lights go off, we'll just open the windows and the curtains and the doors, and we'll just continue to go. So we're so glad you're here today. And I'm just going to go grab this little. Thanks, John. And as we start, so this is where a video goes that I had. It was really, it's a good video that talks, kind of introduces the subject. But if you are new at Harvester, I just want to thank you for being here, number one. Number two, we're in a series called the ABCs of Financial Freedom. And I know that for some of you, this is the forbidden word at church, right? It's like, we're not supposed to talk about finances at church, and you've experienced maybe different churches, organizations, or just leaders that have taken advantage of people, and so I get it. So here's what I want to do before you tune me out. If this is your first time here at Harvester, before you tune me out, just listen for a couple of minutes, okay? I want to make a couple of disclaimers, like I did last week. One of the things that I said last week is that, first of all, this series is definitely not about the church. This series is not about us, raising money for some type of building or anything like that. This series is about you and your finances and how, if you apply God's principles, He can bless that. Number two, I want to make sure that I'm clear just with where we are coming from, because I believe that if we can do something about our financial situation, you can as well. And so, the fact that we are ministers of the gospel doesn't mean that we're great managers of our money. And so let me just tell you a little bit about where Julie and I came from. Up until probably just a few years ago, we hadn't really followed God's principles when it comes to finances. And so we found ourselves in college debt and credit card debt. And, it's been really over the last few years, after we took Financial Peace University, after we went through a series of sermons and messages on finances and what the Bible says about it, that we were able to get a grasp on God's principles. And when we apply them, I tell you, they work. I'm just going to say that they work. And we've seen a huge improvement. We just paid off, our credit card last year. We're a few months away from paying off college completely altogether. And so God's principles work. And so all we want to do here today is help you understand those principles so you, in turn, can follow them. So someone described debt, they made an acronym. So debt is a dumb explanation for buying things. Debt is just a dumb explanation for buying things. And it's so true, isn't it? So here's what we need to start with. If you have your worship folder, your bulletin, we have 10 words that we're going to fill out throughout the message. And each word is just going to give you a little bit of truth maybe about debt. It's going to also give you some truth and insight into whether or not, so you can tell if you are maybe in financial bondage. But let me just share this first verse with you, because I remember I was sitting and I was actually listening to Rick Warren the first time that I decided to take a hard look at our finances. See, Julie and I never thought that we were in, just in financial bondage. You just don't think about those things. You see yourself and you're like, hey, we're handling okay, we're managing this. But he read this verse that really hit me. So it's found in 2 Kings 4:1. And guess what? Since we don't have screens, you actually get to open your Bible in your devices. So if you don't have a Bible, just raise your hand, we'll give you one. If you have a device, just open it. Open your Bible app there, 2 Kings 4:5. And I don't know, Bill, if you don't mind, there's someone needs to use your Bible over there. There are Bibles in the back. So, just 2 Kings 4:1, and here's what it says. It says that the wife of a man from a company of prophets cried out to Elisha, "Your servant, my husband, is dead, and you know that he revered the Lord. But now his creditor is coming to take my 2 boys as his slaves." And I tell you what, when Rick Warren was pointing this verse out, And I don't know, I was probably, I don't know, 28 at the time, 29 maybe. And I realized, so here's a man of God, right? He loved the Lord. He was of a company, in the company of prophets. He revered the Lord. And yet, he left his family in such a situation, financially, in debt, that the creditor was getting ready to take his 2 sons as slaves. And that really got my attention. You know why? Because it doesn't matter then if you're a Christian or not. It doesn't matter if you're a minister or not, or a pastor or not, a leader in the church or not. It doesn't matter what your standing is. There are some principles that if you don't follow them, you can love the Lord all you want, but you still are going to be a poor manager of your money, of the money that God is giving you, of the resources that you've been given. And it really hit me because, I started thinking, if I, for some reason I went home with the Lord today, what kind of situation am I leaving my family in? One of the reasons to look at this situation, this part of the ABCs of financial freedom, which is bondage, is to understand if we are in financial bondage. And so here are a few pointers to let you know if you are in financial bondage. Number 1, deepening debt. Deepening debt. So if you have a lot of debt and it's just getting deeper, that's an indicator of financial bondage. So I love it that we always like to point fingers out, right? And as of February 1st of 2017, the federal government debt was at $19.9 trillion. And everybody just when we hear those numbers, we're like, wow, that's crazy. We need to get completely new, different set of people there handling our finances and this and that. But let me tell you this. We complain about the federal debt, but here's the private debt, okay? That means families and businesses, private businesses. The total owed average debt per household in America is about $16,000 in credit cards, $172,000 in mortgage, $28,000 in auto loans, $49,000 in student loans. And so if you combine all those, it comes to $132,000, which if you multiply by the number of families, households that there are in the United States, comes out to $12.3 trillion. So our government debt, yes, is high and we need to do something about it, yes. But our private debt is almost as high, 19 trillion, 12 trillion. So we're right up there. So one of the things that I'm trying to get across here is that, it's not just a government problem. It's a cultural problem. It's a society, it's a social problem. It's a problem that we just have believed certain things about money, about what it can offer to us, about the things that it can give you, that it just makes us make poor financial decisions. So deepening debt is an indicator of financial bondage. Here's another indicator. Making the minimum payment. Making the minimum payment. Romans 13:8 says, let no debt remain outstanding except the continuing debt to love one another. Let no debt remain outstanding. So, the Apostle Paul is going to encourage us, and this is one of the truths that we're going to go into here in a minute. But making the minimum payment, if you're just trying to make the minimum payment, here's what you're saying. You're saying that you've conformed to the idea of being in debt. That you've said, you know what, it's okay to be in debt. Everybody is in debt. I'm just going to conform to this. And you stop trying to get out of debt and you just try to manage it. And so what we find out, you don't have to go very far doing a little research, is that a lot of people take loans to pay on some other loans. And so you start managing money, you make minimum payment here, and then you shuffle some of the bills so that you can make the minimum payment here some of the time. And then you start just managing debt. And the reason why this is an indicator of financial bondage is because you stop believing that you can actually live debt-free. And so if there's no point in trying to get out of debt because everybody's in debt and that's just the way it is, you just start managing it. So making the minimum payment. The third indicator, an absence of giving and savings. An absence of giving and savings. Research says that about half of Americans would not be able to cover an unexpected expense of $500 or less. Half of Americans would not be able to cover an unexpected expense of $500 or less. And that used to happen to us all the time. It's like you just seem like you're making, a little bit of room. You're just getting ahead a little bit, and the fridge goes out, or the washer goes out, or this goes out. And we never had anything in place until we took Financial Peace University to be able to cover these expenses. That was so true of us at one point in our lives. In fact, here's what's worse. About 22% of Americans, that's 2 out of 10 Americans do not have even a Benjamin, a savings, or any type of emergency fund, not even $100 as any type of emergency fund. So here's the reality. If you have an absence of savings, then I think giving is going to become even more difficult for you. But here's what we need to get. We need to get to the point where we understand the reality of what God's principles are and the fact that debt is not normal. It's not normal at all. In fact, Larry Burkett, in his book, Debt-Free Living, says, regardless of how it seems today, debt is not normal in any economy and should not be normal for God's people. We live in a debt-ridden society that is now virtually depending on a constant expansion of credit to keep the economy going. That is a symptom of a society no longer willing to follow God's directions. And it is so true. It isn't normal. Dave Ramsey says this, that too many people buy things on the lay-awake plan. It's one of those things that you buy it today and then you stay up many nights thinking, how am I going to pay for this? And probably, I can tell you that that's happened to us many times. The objects that we purchased with credit, were gone way before we ended up paying for them. They are way gone before you actually finish paying them off. And so you lay awake night after night thinking, man, how am I going to make all this, go through? How am I going to shuffle the payments or the money to make it happen? And so we need to understand that just debt is not normal. There was a video that I was going to show you, and they're working on the screen, so I'll just try to tell you a little bit.
First, he laboriously drills a hole in a giant ant heap when he is sure a baboon is watching him, because he knows baboons are incurably inquisitive. Next, he puts some wild melon seeds into the hole and works them in so that they drop into a hollow. Then he saunters off, knowing the baboon is burning with curiosity. The baboon doesn't trust that human being at all, so he plays it cool. But he's dying to know what gives in that confounded hole. Finally, Mr. Inquisitive can't take it any longer. He's got to know what's in there. He reaches in, grabs a fistful, and now his hand's too big to come out. If he had the sense to drop the seed, he could free his hand. Now he lets go when it's too late.
There's another creditor, catching a college student right there. Because that's exactly what happens, right? Or anyone else, it could be any of us. It's just all the native had to do is show the seeds, pull them out, show them off in front of the baboon, and then put them in the hole, and then that's all it took. And do you realize how many millions are spent in commercials and ads all over the internet and TV, because all they have to do is put it in front of us, right? And you're like, oh, I want that. Or, oh, that looks fun. Let's get it. And you and I probably have experienced this. Like, you look at it and that looks kind of dangerous. It's like, if I'm going to get, that's expensive. I don't think we can afford that. But then, each time you watch a commercial, it's like, you're just sitting like that, the baboon, right? Like, you're sitting there thinking, and each time you look at whatever you want, each time you walk by it, each time it's shown to you on TV or the internet, it's like you're trying to make excuses. Like, well, maybe we could afford it. It's not that expensive. I'm sure the minimum payment is cheap, right? And so you start thinking and working and just, in your head, a way to do it. And all of a sudden you get closer and closer. And once you have it in your hands, it's like, ooh, this feels good. It could be the brand new phone that you wanted. It could be a brand new vehicle. It's like, look at the leather seats. Look at this. It could be whatever, anything. And you just want it. And you will not let go. And you will be captive to the bondage of debt. But we're not willing to just drop it and run away. That's exactly what happens. But debt isn't normal. It's not something that we should live with. It's amazing how quickly we get used to an idea. It's amazing how quickly we get used to and resign to a way of living. See, I don't know if you realize this, but my kids don't know what it is like not to have smart devices, smartphones, and tablets. In fact, when we went to take a walk around Lincoln Lake yesterday, and we were just talking about that, and so I was saying, I didn't grow up with, just the tablet or the phone that you can take anywhere. I just had, I remember when I got the first Nintendo, that was like a big deal, and they're like, so what do you do? It's like, they were amazed, so what do you do? And so, I would just tell them, it's like, this is what people used to do, walk around outdoors, right, and hang out with each other, and it's just amazing how quickly we've forgotten, what it is like. I remember, just talking to my father-in-law, he said he didn't get air conditioning until, he was out of high school. I think he was leaving high school. And to me, thinking about living without air conditioning in St. Louis in July or August is like, whoa, that would be crazy, right? So quickly we get used to an idea and think that's the norm. And our society has so quickly gotten used to the idea of being in debt and thousands of dollars in debt and thinking that's okay. And it is not okay. Debt is not normal. And so here's why. Because God values our freedom. God truly values our freedom. And He wants us to be aware and avoid the subtlety of debt. Debt is something that is subtle. It comes slowly. It creeps up and it creeps into your life. And then you are enslaved to it. And so here's what we want to do. We want to go over 7 things that you need to know about debt. 7 things that you need to know about debt. First of all, we need to just understand, God does value freedom. And I want to read Deuteronomy 28, 12 through 14. Deuteronomy 28, 12 through 14, and it says, "The Lord will open the heavens, the storehouse of His bounty, to send rain on your land in season, and to bless all the work of your hands. You will lend to many nations, but will borrow from none. The Lord will make you the head, not the tail. If you pay attention to the commands of the Lord your God that I give you this day, and carefully follow them, you will always be at the top, never at the bottom. Do not turn aside from any of the commands I give you today, to the right or the left, following other gods and serving them." So what we need to understand is that it was God's plan. It is God's plan for us, not to be in debt, but just to actually be able to follow His principles and be in a position to actually let other people borrow money. But first of all, we need to recognize that, number one, if you're in debt, it affects everything you do. If you are in debt, it affects everything you do. Taxes. I remember when we were in debt, and the first time that we had to pay Missouri, state taxes, it was like a big deal. We were like, what are we going to do? A couple $100, it wasn't much, and just like, we should have planned better, but it always seemed to caught us off guard, right? It seems like for certain people, anytime that when you're in debt, anytime the church talks about finances, you're like, oh, church, all they talk about is finances, all they talk about is money, right? We get upset, we get defensive. Why? Because when you're in debt, you don't see how you could possibly do anything else. Whenever I remember when we were in debt also, one of the things that to me was the silliest, but now looking back, it was, we knew we didn't have the money to go out to eat, right? But you feel bad, the kids want McDonald's or this or that, and you just like, okay, let's go out, take the credit card with you. And you shouldn't be there in the first place, but you go there, and then you start nitpicking everything they order. It's like, let's actually combine that, let's make it a large, and then we'll split it in half to save money. You're spending money that's not yours, but you're talking yourself into doing it and then thinking you're saving money. And we used to do that all the time. Why? Because when you're in debt, it affects everything. See, you think that every little thing counts. You know, and you think that everything is going to make a difference because you're in bondage. So debt does affect everything. Number 2, the Bible does not forbid the use of debt. We do have to get that clear. It is not a sin. The Bible does not forbid the use of debt. Exodus 22:25 says this. Exodus 22:25 says, "If you lend money to one of my people among you who is needy, do not be like the money lender, charge him no interest." So God, we see that God did allow that. The Israelites made loans to their brothers. However, the Bible did forbid charging interest to the poor. Okay, but the Bible does not forbid the use of debt. Number 3, however, the Bible does discourage the use of debt. The Bible does discourage the use of debt. Proverbs. Let's go to Proverbs 22:7. And it says, "The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender." The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. And I thought it was interesting, and a little while ago I read this in context, and when you look at all the advice that's given you, you know what I think is interesting is, it's hard to tell if the author, meant it this way, but to me it's interesting that the verse before talking about, how people that are in debt are enslaved, in a sense, are servant to the lender. It talks about verse 6, about how we as parents are training our children. Verse 6 says, "Train a child the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not turn from it." And I just thought in the context of reading, verse 7 and 6 together, is like, this is one of those things that, as well, like anything else, the view that you have about money, the view that you have about debt, getting in debt, what you believe and the way that you live is also going to shape the way that your kids do and live and act and what they believe. And I had to realize that was the case for us. The way that we were living was setting up our kids to live in that same way, down the road. And so I'm so thankful that we were able to be introduced to some of these truths. Number 4, here's another thing that you need to know about debt in Scripture. The longest term of debt in the Bible was 7 years. The longest term of debt in the Bible in the Old Testament was 7 years. Deuteronomy 15:1 and 2. Deuteronomy 15:1 and 2 says, "At the end of every 7 years, you must cancel debts. This is how it is to be done. Every creditor shall cancel the loan he has made to his fellow Israelite. He shall not require payment from his fellow Israelite or brother, because the Lord's time for canceling debts has been proclaimed." So what this means is just what it's telling you. Every 7 years, so you could, if you owed something on the 7th year, your debt was forgiven. Now, guess what this was encouraging to do? It was encouraging people to be in debt a lot less. So if you're going to let someone borrow you, if a bank was to let you borrow money, and knowing that in a few years, it's like, hey, I'm going to have to forgive you your debt, they're going to be a lot more careful screening right people and just knowing what's going to happen. Also, I encourage people, to remember, we don't put our trust in money necessarily. It was back to the Lord. So there's so many principles that we learn, but in Scripture, debt was the longest term of debt in the Bible was 7 years. Now, Larry Burkett, in his book, Debt-Free Living, he believes, this way he says, that anyone can be out of debt in 7 years. He truly believes that. He's seen cases. Now, we've seen personal stories here at Harvester. We've seen, multiple stories, if you go through the Financial Peace University, of people paying a lot of debt in a short period of time. But here's what I want you to think about. Even if you think, man, my situation is horrible, whatever it is that you are, anywhere that you are on the spectrum, just think, unless you have a plan, unless you know where you are, you're never going to get there. See, for us as a family, it took us a while to realize that we were in bondage. It's easier to believe, oh, I'm okay, I'm below the average, American, family $16,000. Maybe you don't owe that much. Maybe you're thinking, hey, I'm okay. Maybe it's more for you, but just knowing where you are is the first step, and knowing how to get out in a timely manner. Because number 5, the next principle is, if you are in debt, you ought to get out as quickly as possible. If you are in debt, you ought to get out as quickly as possible. Psalm 37:21 says, the wicked borrow and do not repay, but the righteous give generously. So one, we're not wicked people, we're followers of Christ, so it says you need to repay if you've borrowed. And number 2, it says that the righteous give generously. Now it doesn't say the richest, it says the righteous. Right? It says you don't have to have a lot of money to be able to give generously. In fact, that's one of the principles we'll talk about at the forefront of God's heart is generosity. And I think we're going to have to take a look at that and see how, as Christ followers, we are following after His heart. But what this is saying, this principle is saying that we need to get out. We need to try to get out. Now, Nathan and Danielle actually shared a link with me yesterday that was really helpful as I was trying to explain this principle about the difference between wanting and needing to do something. Which, it's like there's like I want to, but then I need to do something. And sometimes there's a gap. Here's the main problem about trying to get out of it. That it's going to mean changes in your life. It's going to mean just a different way of living. And that's where a lot of us get to struggling, right? So we're going to look at our finances. Hopefully you get to look at your finances. You're going to say, okay, so what do we need to do to get out of this? And then when you look at the steps that you might actually have to do, the want is going to go down a little bit. And your need is going to still remain there. And how do we fill that gap? So we do it in different ways, right? We do it, and the guy that I was listening to made a good point. He said we do it by calling it discipline. We try to be disciplined about this, disciplined about that. But at the very bottom of it, discipline only takes you so long. Different boundaries only take you so long. It just comes to your heart. It comes down to your heart. And you need to ask yourself, as you try to get out of debt, the first question that you need to ask is, what place does money take in my life? Is it attached to my heart? Am I trying to get something out of money that I can never get out of? Am I buying things out of compulsion because it makes me feel better about myself? Am I at a place in life where I think I should be in a different place, and when I buy something, it makes me feel better about me, or it makes me feel better about my situation? And so you just need to take a look at where your heart is, but then try to get out of debt. Principle 6. Jesus endorsed the use of leverage and using banks to gain wealth. So the only time that, in Scripture that we see Jesus talking about banks is actually in a way in which they leverage you, not you leveraging them. So let's go there to Matthew 25:27. And he's telling a story. He's using a parable like he often did. And this parable was about talents. And he tells, people the story about this rich man that gave one of his servants 5 talents, another one 2 talents, and another one 1 talent. And he went away for a long time. And he trusted them with this money. And then when he came back, he came to get his money back. And one of the servants said, I invested the 5 talents that you gave me, and here's double that. You can, put any number on that you want. It can be thousands of dollars, whatever you want, $100, whatever. And then the next one said, you gave me 2, here's 4. And so he, both welcomes them, and he encourages them. And then the last one says, hey, I know that you're a hard man, and that you just basically take what you have not sown, and I was afraid of you because you're a harsh ruler, and I just, hid it, here's back. And so here's Jesus' response that this man said. Verse 26, his master replied, you wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I have not sown, and gather where I have not scattered seed? Well then, you should have put my money on deposit with the bankers, so that when I return, I would have received it back with interest. And this is the only mention that Jesus makes about this type of transaction. And when he talks about banks, he said it, use it as leverage. Use this as leverage for you to get money, not for you to give them money. The author of the book that we're reading, ABC's Financial Freedom, says that interest should give you the chills. It should make you cringe. Because the word interest means that someone else is getting money from your money. It's like someone is benefiting from the money that you have, and it's not you. And so here's the last principle. God's plan is that we would be lenders and not borrowers. We need to be lenders and not borrowers. We saw that in Deuteronomy 28:12. We need to be leading the way. Here's one thing where I think churches have done a poor job. We saw that one of the lies that the enemy wants to tell us is that churches, all they talk about is money. And one of the things that we looked at is that we probably do not talk enough about money at church. You know, we let people, because it's a private matter, right, in our society. It's like, you don't talk about this is my money, how dare you talk about it. You know, honestly, I think, many preachers, we have, not spoken enough about what the Bible says about money and God's principles, which makes Christians sometimes really poor managers. But we should really be leading the way. I want you to imagine what we could do if we were all, super good managers of our money. If we were all debt-free. J.W. Fulbright says this about setting our priorities, about being able to be good managers. He says that priorities are reflected in the things we spend our money on. Far from being a dry accounting of bookkeepers, a budget, it could be a family's budget, a state budget, a nation's budget, is full of moral implications. It tells what a society cares for, and it tells what its values are. And so what we need to understand is that the way that we manage God's resources is reflecting the priorities that we have. Mary Hunt, in a book that she wrote, said that there are only 5 things that you can do with money. You can give money, you can save it, you can invest it, you can lend it, or you can spend it. Again, let me go over it again. You can give it away. You can give the money that you have. You can save it for hard times, for whatever else that you might need. You can invest it and get a return on it. You can lend it. You can let someone borrow it. Or you can spend it on anything you want. And so she says, since you can do any of these 5 things, don't waste it by losing it through paying interest. Don't waste it by losing it through paying interest. Because having it all doesn't necessarily mean having it all right now. Having it all today or at once. See, we need to decide to get out of debt. The band's going to come up, and as they sit up, I just want you to take one last thought at this debt bondage. Do you think that God can help you? Do you think that God wants to help you be debt-free? You might be in your head, and we know the Christian answer, right? The church answer is, I believe so. Now, here's the problem. The problem is that Christians, like any other people, we're excellent at saying we believe something, but truly not believing it. Okay? That just happens. That's just life, right? As humans, we get to that point where we say we believe something, but our actions and we actually don't truly believe it. And here's how it reflects. We usually say, I believe God wants everybody to be debt-free, right? But, and that's the word that we always use, but, well, my case is different. It's like, I really don't have the job that I need right now to be able to do this. Or, but, I really, it's like my situation is like, I don't know what to do. I don't know, how I would spend my money different. Or, but, I'm in a crisis right now. I just lost my job, or this or that. But, and that we add to God's promises really stop us from going to His principles and living life the way that He wants us. And so I just want you to take a look at this. There was one debt that is way more important than any financial debt that we might have, that God had to take care of, first of all. And according to Romans 3 says that everybody has sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. and that the payment for that, what we had to repay for sin, for the debt that we owed sin, was death. And let me tell you what kind of great lengths the Lord is willing to go for your freedom. He went to enough lengths to say, I'm going to send my only son. He's going to live among people. He's going to grow up here for 30 years, and then he's going to have to die, having no sin, having no debt himself. He's going to have to die so that we can pay for everybody else's debt to sin. And here's what I want to let you know, like, which one do you think is more important? You know, the fact that we owe our lives to the Lord and that now He's bought eternal life for us because of His Son Jesus, or a few $1,000s, right? Or maybe for some of us, a few tens of thousands of dollars. I get it. It's a lot of money, right? Or maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars. Whatever it is that you are. Obviously, you would think that human life is way more important. So God already took the time to go through those lengths to set us free from the bondage of sin. My question is, why wouldn't you think He would help you get out of debt? We need to stop making excuses. We need to stop thinking that God is a God this big, right? We say He's this big, but really we're looking at this size. God can and wants to help you get out of debt, but we need to start living by His principles. Right? We need to make a decision to say, hey, it's going to take some change, it's going to take some time. I've got myself in this place for whatever reason. Maybe it was your fault, maybe it was someone else's fault. It doesn't matter at this point. What matters is what you do from this point on. And I hope that your decision is to say, I want to be free from the bondage of debt.